Nice to see everyone. It's helpful if you've been to Zen Bishlat before. That's why we ask, in a way. If not, then it's a good to explain like where we're starting from. Because, yeah. I just, over time watching it, I've seen some value in it. So, yeah. So everyone sort of got the idea, yes? Yeah, that the reason why we can't experience it is because we are it, yeah? The reason why we can't acquire it is because we are it. The reason why we can't lose it is because we are it, yeah? We're the presence that says it's sitting in presence and saying it's out of presence. We're that presence. There's just no escaping it. Now, I don't know what it will do with you. I just know it shook the tree pretty well. And every once in a while, more shit falls off the tree. So maybe satsang's good to get the tree shook a little bit and see what else shows up, what else falls out, yeah? And at least you can start from a sense of contentment and satisfaction, or not that gnawing, drive to get more or to arrive somewhere or to have or to stabilize, yeah? Maybe we can be free from the need to be liberated, yeah? Yeah, maybe we can be free from the need, all those needs that turn into sort of miles per hour, just like a force. And while you're in it, you may be looking for the goal of relief, but that's agitation, yeah? And as it says in that old Zen saying, activity can produce stillness. That would be activity, yeah? Yeah. So you see that, eh? You see the non-duality is neither the activity or the stillness. Do you see that? The duality is, we're getting it down more from day and night, but from the activities, watching the activities of what we call the long-lasting independent separate entity. And by seeing that in most cases, when you're moving towards something, there's a moving away from something else. Yes, there's always an action and then there's a reaction. In our case, there's the conscious contact. The mental state reacts to that and claims the seeing and all that stuff to be a seer and a feeler. And then it injects it with history or time. And so every time it rings that bell, there's an echo of being that bell for years. Do you know what I mean? So the selfing arises moment to moment, yet when it hits the bell, it registers an echo of, I was here before, I'm going to be here after, yeah? It gets its own manufactured longevity, yeah? It just gets, yeah. And we can see that because we're, in one sense, we're not moving, yeah? So you can see a lot of movements when you're not moving. When you're moving, you may not see you're moving, yeah? When there's a stopping, you see all the stuff that moves, yeah? And the most stuff that moves comes and goes, yeah? Yet what we are doesn't come or go, doesn't begin or end, doesn't have a starting point, doesn't have an end point. When you ask who is that, it just answers with deafening silence, yeah. Yeah, so this is it's like wearing a pair of glasses that they're not the affirming kind, they're the negating kind, yeah? So we put them on, and instead of seeing everyone as one, we see there isn't anyone. That works pretty nice. And we're included. Yeah. It's not like a lady once told me, oh, it's incredible. I am free from the ego, but it's everyone else's ego is bothering. So this is how, this is how it finally sort of rang true, like the chimes right now. And it just shattered the mental logic. Yeah. The mental logic, it just got all shook up by, you know, you can't get out of what you're not in. Yeah. It just closes its mind. Yeah. You can't get into what you're not out of. Yeah. Its whole movement is based on a contrary idea from a fact. It believes it's out of something it can't be, and it believes it's in something that it can't be. So it's trying to get out of something that it's not in, and it's trying to get into something that it's not out of. Yeah, fundamental. Now you could see that theme everywhere that from that point as it progresses. Yeah. So this is where the answer is before it. Just like in non-duality, if there is a problem, there's a need for a solution. When the solution is held, there is no problem. Yeah, it's just the way it works. Yeah, yeah. So from where I'm sitting, I feel there's a problem, so there's a need for a solution. When I see this from the solution, there is no problem. Wow. Yeah. Now, if you say, when you're seeing it from here, the problem, that there is no problem, it doesn't work. But when you see it from the solution, there is no problem, it works. And I'm saying you're always seeing it from the solution. It's just the mental head arises and says it doesn't think so. Yeah. So we get a reaction to the clear seeing, and now it's me and you looking. Yeah. And a lot of us don't see that the seeing gets displaced by the claiming of being the looker. Yeah. And then we are looking for that which is seeing all day when we are what's looking. Yeah. Which is the seeing. There's not the seeing. So I hope it catches, you know, I hope it untwists the mental logic. I feel it can. I feel satsang, you know, it's like a rope tied in the form of nooses. So the whole rope has been made into nooses. So you're always hanging yourself. But if you could see, if those knots could be released and you'd see the rope in another manner, it could be quite useful. Yeah. So this is just a new pair of glasses, so to speak. It's presented from the idea of non-duality. Yeah. We've been wearing them every Wednesday night, hopefully Saturdays, whenever. And after a while, that which you start seeing starts gaining traction. And you lose interest in constantly surveilling how you're doing. But over time, you realize you're traveling quite lighter than you used to. But you're not on top of yourself, watching yourself. You just forget yourself quite a lot. Yeah. I got absorbed in a chandelier today, just before. Yeah. A couple hours before that, it was a lagoon. A couple hours before that, it was throwing the ball for the dog. Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Or any shares of what's going on. Yeah. All right.
Well, while we're waiting, I'll mention, since Stuart and I were talking about the sun earlier, I was watching the True History Channel, and it was talking about how the Egyptian mythology had one of their gods that ate the sun at night and gave birth to it in the morning. So, like, you know, when you're talking about like there's no one, and how much more helpful that is than to try to be one with everybody. It's like you get to see, you know, like, it's not their sun reincarnating. It's not bodies reincarnating. There's something occluding, you know, that makes it look like when it reappears, that gives you that story.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was really fun.
Well, selfing is like rising all the time. Yeah. The self never rises. There isn't one. But the selfing implies there's already a self. Yeah. So it's much easier to get before what's rising. But if something's already risen, you're sort of behind an 8-ball. Yeah. So it's a beautiful move by the head. It doesn't say, oh, if you keep going this way today, you're going to become a self. It says you already are one. So then just the options really, really shrink. And most of it is, let's try to get out of it. And then you get caught in the larger net. Self can't get out of self. Yeah. I was looking for a lot of outs. I never really sat down to see if I was in. I just assumed the desire to get out must have had an in to have such a desire to get out. Just it made sense, yeah. But finally, after everything went through its freaking circuit, I arrived at you can't get out of an imaginary place. That's pretty.
You've got Nick laughing on the phone too. Hi, Nick.
I was mute myself. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. We like the secondary sound echoes, laugh echoes.
I mean, that motor took a lot of gas over the years. Yeah, trying to get out of a parking place you're not actually parked in is difficult.
That's the most difficult one.
It's very difficult. And after about 8 years or 12 years of blaming yourself for not being able to get out of it, you finally come to the end of things and see you are not in. Hallelujah. Yeah. Yeah. Not in takes out the need for an out, doesn't it? So it doesn't have the folding, like the bifolding of duality, because usually it's in and out. This is, you're not in. So it cuts out that in and out movement, yes? It takes the momentum off the slinky, out of the slinky. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's the seamless logic. Yeah, you hit that and you realize truly, just like basically, you don't need the language of a bizarro world. You just realize, yeah, it's the opposite. What you're trying to get in, you've never been out of, but what you're trying to get out of, you've never been in. I mean, wouldn't that settle a whole lot? Yeah. All right. So any questions?
Stuart has his hand up. Hey, Stuart. No, you're still muted.
Hey, Paul.
Hey.
I just wonder, have you sent Muji one of your YouTubes yet, just to reinforce the idea that you can't have 3 minutes of presence and 23 minutes of, or 24 hours or whatever it is, what you were talking about, you know?
I think Kerry made that whole thing up anyway.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I'm just paraphrasing, but it was an interesting.
Okay, now I gotta unmute. No, it was a fact, Paul. Before you came on, Muji.
Let's not name anyone, though. Let's not name.
All right. Well, it's too late. Cat's out of the bag. Muji.
Yeah. All right.
It was being taped though. It was a tape. We were watching a tape of him.
Yeah.
And Sina co-signed that. She told you, right?
All right.
So,
well, in that sense, I don't know what he was holding it as, but the way I see it is, if you're going to sit in the presence for 5 minutes, that sitting in the presence is going to be used by the head to infer that you've been out of the presence for 23 hours and 55 minutes. So, yeah. I mean, it's you're not starting on an even playing ground. You're already on the debit side. You got 23 hours and 55 minutes against 5 minutes. So what I said is, in a joking manner, why not sit for 5 minutes 3 times a day in the non-presence? Yeah. So sit down and sit in the non-presence for 5 minutes. So then you'll have the opposite possibility that you're present for 23 hours and 45 minutes. Not bad. And then,
I still think you should send him a video. It might do him a favor, you know?
Well, then I had fun with it, because then it's sort of like, all right, we are the presence, remember? Yeah. So the presence now is going to sit in the presence. I want to ask you, when it stops sitting in the presence, when does the non-presence begin?
Yeah. See, I just see it as a lot of teachings that, you know, different people do, and also can get really basic, like going into a religious thing as well. That's it's just such a I don't know what the word is, Paul. Just like it's for me, it seems like it's just not real in a sense. That teaching, it's just any teaching that says that you're not who you are already is not real to me. It's just,
well, there you go. That's why you're here. Most people are wanting something. Most people are in the. There's no people, but the most drive is to become real.
Yeah.
They want to be there to enjoy the becoming real.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
But what you're sharing is like so obvious to me.
Well, there you go. That's why it's probably good you're here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it doesn't.
Maybe people don't want to see the obviousness of stuff, though.
I don't know. I don't know what works if it doesn't work. It was just funny because the duality that we can see in our own experience right now is when the head says one thing, there's a huge meaning about the other usually. Yeah. So the idea that I'm going to sit in the presence is implying that I'm not right now. So and if you are the reality, and you're believing that at that moment, it's going to seem to be real. You're going to feel like you're not in the presence, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then you're going to come up with an idea of what it feels like to be wet based on dryness. Yes?
Yeah.
Instead of based on wetness, which is you are already wet. Yeah. So now you feel like you know how to get wet, only to go back to dryness, and now we go after that wetness. But inherently we are wet. Yes. Yeah. That's the message of non-duality. We are what we're looking for, or as Ramana put it, being ourselves reality, or what's looking is what you're looking for. The seeker is the source. You know, there's all this cryptic pointing at nothing in a way, just pointing at the misunderstanding of the seeker and the sought. Yeah. And using the Buddha to seek the Buddha, and using mind to seek mind, using light to seek light. And the thing is, you have to remember, like Ramana supposedly said, when he walked in a room and a lot of his people that had been with him for a long time were asking, were talking amongst themselves about could they be teachers. And when he walked in, they asked him, and he said, oh yeah, all of you can teach, but I don't recommend it. So they got a little confused by that, and they asked why, and he said compassion. And they still were confused, so they asked him to explain that, and he said, you're going to be sitting in front of some people, and you're going to feel compassion for them, and you'll dilute the message. Yeah. You're going to try to make it fit around them a little bit. Yeah. And this is, you know, when you're unpopular and small, you don't have the pressure than if you're a big franchise. Yes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's much easier to stay on point because there's nothing, you know, there's not much going on to pull you off the point. You know, I don't like 20,000 people event 3 days from now. And I have to see people who have to play a certain way because of what they're involved with. They've got to keep it real simple because they're attempting to just lighten the load of people, which is great. I don't have any interest really in lightening your load. I want to give you nothing, keep giving you nothing, because I believe that's where the true lightness comes. I do. So and it probably coincides with my action figure because I'm probably not a very, you know, loving and kind person. Basically. I can let you sit in what you think you're in. I know it doesn't bother me.
I actually already said that you were mean because you told Carrie and Judith that they had to wash their dog.
I do that. Luca, no, before the meeting, God, I don't know why I'm chiming in.
Oh, I did that.
That's what Carrie said.
Even if I did it, I didn't do it.
Yeah, whatever, Paul. Do the dishes, Paul.
If you put your hand on the dog, you have to sanitize your hand for a few minutes.
So I was just telling Mike that he just got out of the bath. We just gave her a nice bath, condition, blow dried her. She's gelling like she's in there.
Great.
Anyways, it's all good, man. Why are we talking about this? It's all good, man.
It's just a segue because we have other hands up. So you ready for the next one?
Yes. There's two of them, Angie and Tim.
Yep. Oh, you got it, Paul. You don't need me anymore.
Well, I never did, Mike.
That's true. But thank you for letting me play. You ready, Tim?
I'm ready. Is Angie? You want me to go now?
Your hand's up.
Here I go. Good evening.
Angie's smiling, so let her be. So let's go with Tim.
Okay. Hi, Paul. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. I come from the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I've mentioned that before. And in the book, it talks about being reborn. And so I went through what I call it's been my experience, a metamorphosis, where I literally became something different than I was before. And I was able to observe through the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous that other individual, that personality. And I'm not the same man. That's all there is to it. This message that you're I don't want to say preaching, this message that you're bringing, it landed, and it opens another level. It opens on a level that, you know, as the Bible says, in my Father's house, there's many mansions. It opened up a level for me that I knew was there, but very difficult to stay with. That's why I say it's the quickness. It comes back at me. Now it was explained to me early on that I was in a 3-walled cell with bars on 3 walls with no bars behind me. But instead of walking out of the cell, I set up shop. You know, and then I used to peer out of the cell, wishing I could be out, when right behind me it was freedom. And I get that from this message, and I'm not sure that here it's I'm not trying to obtain it or grab it or have it. It's just it's a flow. It's there. It's there. And when I can release, as I did with the program, when I was able to let go and actually step out of the way, this amazing stuff showed up. Amazing stuff. And it's the same with this message here, is that it opens up another level, which is, thank you very much for bringing it. And that's it. So I just wanted to say that. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. In a way, what non-duality is being unborn, not being reborn. So we got the great joy of being reborn in the action figure, time and space. And then the absolute is being unborn, which is quite cool. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah. There was a great, supposedly, I think his name was Bankio or something. He was an old master, Zen master. And he used to present this, the way he presented a message was, we were the unborn. So like Nisargadatta used to do that. Nisargadatta used to say, try to think of yourself 10 minutes before you were born. Yeah. So this sense of unbornness, which would be before everything that occurs after birth, let's say, after being born, is like the freedom that doesn't have an opposite. It's freedom from the bondage of duality. It's before the this and that, and the yes and no, and the high and low, and the close and far, and the connected and disconnected. Yeah, there's a freedom in recovery. I believe it's captured by, we are placed in a position of neutrality. Yeah, so neutrality isn't either this or that, yes or no. It's somewhere else. Yeah, a different time and a different space. Let's say so. Being unborn is is what really allows you to be reborn in time. Yeah, getting reborn in time is really an expression of being unborn. Yeah. See, you know what I mean? Because let's say you have a certain history, and then that history gets completely changed. What is it implied there? It implies there wasn't a one who had a stagnant, stable history. Yeah, it was all a story that was made up, and then like an art, it was like one of those hourglasses. It was just put the other way, and then all you thought you were goes. Yeah, I mean, to me, there's a message in it. If you're reborn, you were never born, because you would think born would be sort of like a tattoo that would be on you the rest of the time, but to have a complete change, like a profound personality change, and you look different and everything else, can only be based on that you were never born to begin with. It's like this thing, if you don't mind, folks, here. I have this little hypothesis about an event that happens to a lot of people with drug addiction and alcoholism, which are blackouts, right? Which is, there's a period of time that, well, first of all, you come to, and it seems like you've been missing for a period of time. Sometimes you bought a plane ticket and flew somewhere else or whatever, and you come back for about, and there's like a 14 hours or 20 hours or 8 hours of missing time. You have no memory, yet there was a functioning interface, another Paul that was buying the plane tickets, making it with babes, paying bills. Yes. But see, the primary Paul, got overwhelmed by the drug addiction, the drug taking and the alcohol, that it collapsed, and a substitute had to be brought up from the cellar to represent the action figure. And there was another Paul. And then suddenly when the older Paul regroups, it has to forget the other Paul. Yeah. So it says, I don't know what happened for the last 14 hours, but in fact, in my life, I did better when I was in blackouts with the other Paul than I did alive. I would have liked the other Paul to take over completely, because the Paul that was running the show was doing a bad job. So it's sort of like that movie Moon, where the guy is, I've told this many times, I haven't been using it much over these years, but there's a movie called Moon, and it's set in the future, and they've discovered a mineral that's running all the technology on Earth, and it's in the moon. And so you have these huge farms harvesting this shit that's, fueling all the computers and the cell phones and everything, electric cars. And there's this guy working it. All you need is one person to run the whole thing. And this guy has only 5 more days left. And he's been there for 5 years. And he's a Boston Red Sox fan. And he has a wife and 2 kids in Boston, and so on and so forth. And then there's an incident in one of the areas. And he goes there and he finds a suit, like a space suit. And he looks in and it's him. Yeah. So he takes it back to the main place, and the guy comes back, and he wasn't supposed to be seen. Something happened, it broke the continuum. There was always one and no others. Suddenly there was 2, and they started talking. And the new guy informed him, hey, bro, you don't live in Boston. You don't have a wife or anything. And the guy, all the evidence is so powerful, but still the human programming is stubborn, and he just won't believe it. And so the guy takes him down into the cellar, and there's thousands of them there. The same face and everything. Yes. And so finally it starts dawning on him. See, this is the problem. When we hear the message that you're a lion, what responds to it is the sheep program. Yes, the sheep programming will even finally go, okay, I can become a lion. I have lion-like qualities, but no, it will not go there that it's a lion, because the sheep program is based on sheeping. Yes, it's not going to turn. You can't switch to, okay, lion all day. Yeah. So the whole point of the message is not to speak to the sheep programming. It's an attempt to get around it, hopefully with repetition, and talk and speak directly to the lion, yeah, about the sheep, yeah, not about the lion. You don't need to talk to the lion about the lion. It's lion. You need to talk to the lion about the sheep program, so that it recognizes it and stops putting its hand in that sheep glove, yes? Or when it puts its hand in the sheep glove, it doesn't lose the sense of it's a hand, yeah? Being in the glove doesn't necessarily mean you're the glove. It means, yeah, there's the idea I'm a glove, but I'm a hand. You see? This is the message we're putting out here, because this is what I saw. I heard non-duality. I had it resonate. I had the aha. I had the wow, everything. But and in those conditions, I could see that which was stalled return, the mental activity. I could see it. I could see it show up again and kick in and take over and claim its own absence as an experience it had. Yeah. So I felt at that point, it was pointless to go any further without seeing this, because that's how it looked for me. It looked as soon as I saw it, all the talks we were doing had a new flavor, because it just stopped. There was no describing all we are as consciousness and shit like that. It was just going over the self thing, yeah? So that you could see it as not the self, yeah? You don't want to see the selfing from the product of the selfing. It doesn't go anywhere. you see the selfing from what's before it, which is us being ourselves reality. Yeah. This is the point of this platform, is to keep going over it, keep sending that message through Angie and through Tim and through Mike. Yeah. Because if the Buddha is the Buddha nature then is all the nature of the space. Light is all the content of this context. Mind is all of this. How can I miss it? All I got to do is miss you. It's not like I have to throw it through a tiny little hole 30 miles away to get it to what we are. No, I can just toss it anywhere. Kick it, throw it, drop it. It doesn't matter. The hole is huge. I can't miss. It's you I'm trying to avoid. Angie.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Tim. Yes.
It's funny. Hi, Paul. Hi, everyone. It's funny how all these things come together to form. So you add 1 + 1 + 1 and you end up with 0.
Yeah.
So, we come in these satsangs with our heavy stories, whether that's addiction or relationships or financial, whatever, trauma, whatever you want to call it, it's still a story. And then the mind hears, you are what you're looking for, and on having never left, and all these expressions, and the mind goes like, what are you talking about? Am I already there? Like, what are you talking about? So there's a lot of confusion in the beginning because we're so deep in the stories. But then it as you say, it resonates and it hits somewhere. And then you slowly realize, hey, that makes perfect sense, It's like, and I was thinking the other day, the best advice you could give someone is just simply lighten up. I know it sounds like an insult and like you have no compassion for them and their story, but I think it's the best thing, lighten up. It's just this. So it's funny.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that movie with the moon. I saw that too. And I was thinking, like, where there's one, there's got to be many. Like, there can't be just one, So it's more plausible that there's none rather than one,
Exactly.
Because, yeah.
Exactly. So. If there's many, there's none.
Yeah. Yeah, and if there's one, there's got to be many, and then if there's many, then there's none.
That's right. One is too many, many is none.
Yeah. And then all these, so satsang, as you say, it has value because it starts, all these little things start adding up until it becomes 0, right? And you're like, you're like sliding down through the tunnel and you're ending up where you started. It's like you look around and it's the same thing around you and you're in the same situation, but you're just laughing because, hey, you see that you're not the glove, so the glove can do whatever. It can go busy throughout the day, and and there's something in the background, the hand that says, I'm here, but this is what is happening outside. But that's not me. I'm here.
That's right. And see, the HUD, the hand, the glove is used to imply when the glove is there can't be a hand.
Yeah.
And if there's only going to be a hand, there cannot be a glove. So this is the idea to destroy or vanquish something that doesn't freaking exist.
So the glove is still doing the gardening or whatever, the heavy construction work or the computer work, whatever it's doing. But it doesn't matter anymore because it's not
that glove. Yeah.
You just see it gets dirty, it gets put in the washer.
Of killing the glove, that which was killing the glove would be the quote unquote glove.
Yeah, it was getting itself dirty, you know.
The hand isn't looking to kill the glove. It's,
Yeah.
in a sense, it doesn't care if it's in or out, really.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
being in, it doesn't lose its hand nature. Being out, yeah, it's the same thing. It's only
so
us seeing it. It's different, yeah.
Yeah, so just as you mentioned, Ramana saying, you know, because of compassion, if you tell someone just lighten up, they think that's like an insult. What do you mean? I have all these problems.
Yeah.
You know, you're not showing me any compassion. But that is really the best advice.
We used to have that with recovery, where people would come in and maybe that you meet them, and then for 15 minutes, they tell you how screwed they are. And basically you go, yeah, you're fucked. And then you go, they say, well, what should I do? Go to a meeting. And they go, wait a minute. I just told you I have no place to stay, no money. What the hell? How is a meeting? Well, just go to a meeting. Because see, it's an answer not of that logic. And the problem is that logic, that mental logic. Yes, it is definitely an appendage of the problem, the mental logic. And that's why when you hear these things, they don't fit into the mental logic, which is a great sign, to tell you the truth. Yeah, because if that screw and nut fits into the mental logic, it's part of the machinery.
Yeah, so that's why it's good.
It's sort of like when you use metric tools, or the inch, whatever tools, yeah. They looked exactly the same, but the metric isn't the exact same. It doesn't have the same size, yeah. And so this way, you just want to throw a metric into that bag with the old standard stuff. Yes. So, yeah, that's the whole thing about it's a sample of that logic is you can't get out of what you're not in. I mean, people do not, kids go to that much quicker. Adults have a very difficult time. Because again, the story also, in time, there's an investment in that story. So the story, it may have a story that it really wants a solution, but it probably doesn't. Yeah, it just wants a solution. And it gets very upset when it's put on a dime. Yeah. We had a whole thing called the pooper scooper. I won't go into it, but the guy thinks he's found a solution about dealing with shit, which is picking it up really fast. And then he becomes a great speaker, at conventions, and he has autographed pooper scoopers, and he's got a whole life based on picking up shit. And he thinks that's the solution. And someone comes in and says, hey, bro, find the dog.
Yes. So
there's a hesitation in his mental condition because he has a solution. Yes. He's not open to a solution. Yes.
That's right. That is another message that clicked, that all these practices reinforce the separation, the sense of being a you. All the practices.
They usually can. If you see them, then maybe the practices won't be you practicing. And then, it's just like anything else. The idea of a non-action isn't not doing anything. It's an action without an identification as the actor. Yes.
That's right.
And so that doesn't mean there wasn't the mechanical identification as the actor. That doesn't have to go away. The glove keeps appears, but not necessarily you put your hand in it. Yeah. So the glove will keep appearing. You can't wait for you to stop doing shit. It doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a forceful stopping. It's just seeing that it's not you who's doing all those things. And then you let them be, let them happen as they want.
Yes, more and more, because you lose interest. There's a loss of interest. see, the things are empty inherently, everything, and they're given meaning, obviously. Yeah, this is a subjective dreaming, which is for a dreaming, there can't be real things, because the real thing would persist on giving its sense of reality to you. You know what I mean? They're appearances. They're empty, so they can be given meaning. So the head is giving meaning to a lot of things through the idea of how these things relate to me. Yeah. If you lose interest in that me, the meaning that are given to things are going to change.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to change the meaning to everything, you lose interest in the me, and then the meanings change, or at least the volume and the amplification of shit changes a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Once you fall upon it, it produces the goods in a way. So it actually works. This is what they say in recovery: faith with faith that works. This to me is faith that works. Yeah. You put faith in the infinite and it works. Yes.
For sure. Can I just share, like this morning, yesterday it was a long day for me. So this morning I just turned off the alarm without realizing. And then I woke up naturally just in time to make my first appointment of the day. Just in time. I hit the road running, and then I ended up there on time. And I was just in awe, you know, how could this be? So it's just like you let the canvas be blank, and then whatever, you know, it's going to happen. Whatever it happens, it happens.
Yes. And when that canvas is painted, there's like subliminal messages that get into the action figure programming. It does. Yeah. While you're staring at the art, you don't know something's happening. I swear to God. I swear. You don't see it, but you'll experience it. You'll experience its effects. Yeah. It's sort of like you're looking at that screen and there's subliminal shit coming through. Yeah, so that's beautiful in a way. Yeah, I saw, you know, it's like there's life and many renditions of it. And the painter I've been interested in following the last 30-something years, if you stare at the art, there's a message in there. It comes through. Yeah. And it's really cool. And then it's almost as if life itself starts whispering to the action figure in a different language. The action figure can't understand it, but something in it knows. And it drops into a different kind of relaxing field. You couldn't produce it through like 50 Thai massages. There's something that happens to it, comes over it without it. He has no idea what's going on, but it sees it, it observes it, and then it recognizes an expression connected to that, how that day was painted. Yes. Yeah. 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 It's cool. So in a weird way, you're standing in the gallery watching, and this art called living right now is also subliminally putting some stuff in. Yeah. Yes. It's cool.
So if you think you're a painter, you only see a small section of the painting and you're focused there trying to make it work. But if you step back, you see the whole picture.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's almost as if life talks to you in a lot of different ways now. Yeah. Yeah. It's very, yeah. All right. Thanks, Angie. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. I'm happy.
Yeah. Thanks, Angie. And I liked your contrasting picture of the hand does both the gardening and the heavy industrial work.
Whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. It's all good.
But the mind likes some contrasting duality. Anybody else want to raise their hand? Or were you going to ask that, Paul?
No, not asking. I have one question to Miss Amelia. What are we eating tonight? No, I have nothing. Who? Any other shares or anything?
No. Is Miss Amelia on video? No.
She's right there. Yeah, not on video though. No. Yeah.
I'm here, Mike.
All right. Well.
Oh, there you are.
I am.
Hi.
Hi.
Do we need to make an announcement about Italy, hon?
Yes, actually, yes. I'd like to remind you guys that the deadline for the second and final payment is July 31st. So then we can close the whole thing and go ahead. I'm just looking forward to go in Italy and spend some time with you. If you have any questions about your balance, please email me or you can text me or any other questions.
Is there one balance that you could just email the group? Because like, is mine different than somebody else's?
Well, yeah, because it depends if you got a single room or double room. So there's different balances, and depending, some people maybe gave me more on the first payment. So that's why, if you're not sure about your balance, just check with me.
Okay. I'm checking with you. Go ahead and email me.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
I will. Any other questions, you guys? You know where to get me. You know my email. Oh, also, yes, I have something else. You know the Google document that Mike, you sent several weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
If you guys, please, whoever is here, whoever is coming to Italy, if you can update it so I know your times of arrival and departure from Brindisi, would be great, because I'm trying to put together the shuttles that will pick us up. So it will be very useful. And if you don't know how to do it, just maybe email it to me and I will update it for you. Okay, I think I'm done.
Thanks, Sonny. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on, Mike? Anyone? Well,
no hands.
We can close the shop then.
Okay.
Yeah. Short and sweet. Uh-oh, someone just put their hand up, I think. William.
I did? Oh, yeah, on the square, yeah.
Got right in at the last minute. All right.
And are you unmuting yourself?
Relatively.
There you go.
I've been listening to you guys for some time, probably 4 to 5 years, but I've just started to come live. And so I'm a little bit, how shall I say, not clear on all the procedures. I have one question. I probably have many, but I'll go with this one for now. I heard Paul talk about, lose interest in, or lose interest in self and do something else, or I forgot exactly how he worded it, like find something else and get something, some other interest in self, okay? So say for example, I can go, I can watch a movie, I can play, I'm a model builder, I build model sailboats, I'm very handy with my hands, etc. But since I've been getting a little bit more increased anxiety, when I try to do these things, the persistent thoughts and physical issues keep hanging out with me. I mean, they prevent me from diverting my attention. They accompany me in my pursuit of forgetting, self, get out of self, forget self and get out of self. I can't seem to do that in a way that I'm satisfied. I can go for it, but the thoughts just keep running along with me. If I find a show or take a walk or whatever it is, they just keep hanging out. They just persistently tormenting me. And I just like to bring that up.
All right. So basically you've presented a diagnosis. So yeah, you're in the house is on fire, you need a pail of water. Now, what you first brought up, it's not an action to lose interest, it's an effect by doing other things. Just like in recovery, you've done this, you're doing the steps and taking suggestions and getting involved with service and commitments, and those behaviors produce an effect, which is losing interest. You and I trying to lose interest is more interest in self, most cases, yes? So that I want to be clear about. So this is not saying I'm gonna how to lose interest. When we suggest watching Netflix, it's to distract the interest that's hovering around, yeah? Because the suggestions and the behaviors and the things that had happened aren't there right at that moment. And that attention and interest is orbiting around this object, mental object called William, yes? And stuff like that. So at that point, you want to distract the flies. The flies know there's shit there. So you can't say there's no shit, but you want to distract them, yeah? And so service is an incredible way to do it. And if you have certain difficulties, there's service you can do. You can fucking, count envelopes and shit. And being with other people at, let's say, central office, you're in recovery, yes? Yeah. Central office.
I have no alcoholic issues.
Oh, all right. Well, then you don't go there. But what you do is you get involved, let's say, with where we have a place called St. Vincent, yeah? And so they feed people in San Rafael, California, a couple of times a day. You could go down there, St. Vincent, St. Anthony's, they're all over the place, different places where if you could contribute some time, they'll put you to some use. And I bet you that you'll feel different when you're in that or engaged in that, and when you leave there than you do now, sitting around trying to figure out how to stop thinking. Yes?
I have another comment regarding that. I used to be served a lot with Sai Baba people and the homeless, etc.
Yeah.
But my health now is becoming so that I can't drive too far. But I have a lady friend that's sort of disabled, you might say. She can't walk without help. So I've been kind of giving her my service. Now, that's the best I can do.
You can do that. And another thing my mother did when she was older, and I saw the effects of that on her face, was she had a service where she called people that were called shut-ins. They weren't in nursing facilities. They still lived by themselves, but they were pretty lonely. They didn't get to go out. And so she would, on Saturdays, call and just say hello to those people. And it would really, she was like very bright when I'd go visit her. So these things, I'm sure if the interest is there, something will show up. And
well, like I said, my lady friend really needs me because she can't function without someone along with her to take her.
And so basically, when you're engaged with service, a lot of times you're not busy observing that you're engaged with service. See, that's the point. You lose interest in self at that moment by the observing the thing that's following with a microphone and doing an interview. Yeah, that you're not up that ass and that on that level of up the ass. So, and then these things become, and then you talk with others and it pulls you out of there and shit. Yeah, so there are things. Yeah,
I've been reaching.
And while you're doing that, come to satsang if you like. And then the idea that these thoughts are so important or so powerful is really preceded by being the sense of being the thinker. I'm telling you, definitely, because the thoughts cannot produce the volume that you're hearing them in. They can they can be notes of the head producing that volume. Yes. And that's when there's an identification as the thinker or the thought about. So I'm very clear about that. Yes. So that's why when service pulls you out, it's almost there you are in the music room. Every note is super loud and you're trying to stay in the music room, but lower the volume. No, service will pull you out. You'll still hear the notes, but they won't be so loud anymore. You'll still hear the thoughts, but they won't be so loud because you won't be there. You're the great amplifier. Yes. It's not the thoughts. You're like an amplifier. The obsession with self amplifies stuff. It enlarges. It makes mountains out of molehills. It does this. It's like a house of mirrors. When you look at yourself through that lens, you see yourself in so many strange freaking ways. And there's other people here, if they don't mind me saying, you should talk to maybe after the meeting. There's a guy named Chris, right? Maybe he has some good suggestions. He's right here with the black hat on. A lot of people here have had like extreme mental anxiety. I haven't had it. I don't know. I can't do it justice.
Yeah. I gotta say,
I've had little spurts, but I don't have it's not like a.
I gotta say to William, your experience is exactly like mine. And I've recently found, actually, I got a job that is actually kind of stressful, but in a weird way, it took me out of that just being alone with my own thoughts all the time. It's just a very practical, I really feel like it doesn't matter what you do as long as you do something. But I have also found what Paul said is true. You know, I'm helping my niece through something right now and spending 8 hours a day just doing little house repairs for her doesn't make me feel great about myself or something like that. That's not the point of it. It just stops me from being there. Is how I would describe it.
So William, hold on 1 second. So if you stay after we say goodbye, you can talk. Mike, can you stay for a little bit?
Yes,
and just show them. I don't know how you do it, but Chris, if you don't mind, people who have this been through this condition, because I can only see it from a patterned diagram because I'm not in it. I don't know. Yeah. So
I'm supporting my lady friend by helping her with her chores and being company with her in that of itself, I feel very productive in a way. I mean,
exactly. So there you go. So now you know what works. Yeah. And just put yourself to it if you want. Yeah. And then all the while you can hear this, because we're not trying to talk to William. We're trying to get through, not to, but through William. And then William's going to be a depository of a change. It's not going to be that which initiates it. Yeah. The power of satsang is incredible. I feel I have seen people's facial structure change over the years we've been doing this. So yeah, there's the
thing is
length and weight don't mean anything in the timeless condition. Length of doing and weight of it doesn't mean squat. Yeah, things can turn a dime. Yeah,
to run to soup kitchens, etc., like that. I'm almost housebound myself.
Yes.
So that I have to just do with what I can with the ability to have, and that's just about taking my lady to McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts or helping her with around her house. The best I can do.
I think that's great, bro. And and we're here, and people are here to talk with you and stuff. And
we appreciate everyone's
power. That's the power of the we. The whole idea of recovery from addiction and shit it's not a you and I program. It's a we. There's a power there. So we have a community. A lot of people here have been through a lot of stuff.
Oh yes.
And I would imagine they would be happy to share with others. Yes.
what Chris said, powerful. I heard that, and what responded to me about my issue was helpful. And I see there's feedback coming from different quarters here. So I'm magic.
Well, now the thing is, this is the trick. A lot of people are great at asking for help. Now is the receiving of it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you, William. Yep. All right. So I'm going to go back and say hello to Vlad, my friend. How are you, Vlad?
Hi, Paul. I was calling you today. Yes, I was trying to call you.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, call me now. I didn't see anything.
It's okay, yeah.
On WhatsApp. Yeah, give me a call. I'll watch for it.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right? Yeah, give me a call right after this thing's over.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, all right. I think that what WhatsApp is telling me is I have to update WhatsApp, but I don't have the iOS to update anything. I think the iOS on my phone is old.
Yeah, maybe.
Every time I say update and I hit it, it says, you can't update this, whatever. But call me, I'll hear it. All right?
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank
We got Kerry. Nice to see you, Kerry. We got Stuart. We got David there. Yeah. Now say hello to Stephanie for us, Dave. Yep. We got Brandon. Always a pleasure to see Brandon when he drops in. We got Tim. Thanks for the share, Tim. Yeah. Brahmi. Maybe I'm hearing something from Brahmi this week. Are you gonna call me?
I will call you, but it looks like I'm gonna have to take the airporter down from Santa Rosa, so I think I'm gonna slide right by and not be able to visit this time.
All right, honey.
Yeah.
All blessings, eh?
Thank you. When I get over there, I'll be tuning in on my Thursday mornings, your Wednesday evenings.
All right.
Thanks,
fantastic.
Paul. Thank you.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Rami. We got James from the iPhone, Chris, Angie, Stefan on having never left, Stacy. I remember when Stacy came up here from LA in the early days.
Yeah, hi, Paul. The message just and the reminders are just more and more beautiful, and the questions just finally feel like they're falling away. So.
Oh, great, honey. Great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sometimes slowly, sometimes quickly, but it's always available at all times. Yeah. Alan O. Nice to see you, Alan. Thank you for all the support. Yep. We got Mia. There she is. She sends me great care packages. Let's see. There's a phone number. I don't know who that is.
That's Nick.
Oh, Nick.
The one that laughed earlier.
Oh, he did. All right.
He's probably laughing right now, but he's muted.
All right. Okay.
Hey,
we got.
He's
unmuted. He's unmuted now.
Hey, Nick. How are you?
Hey, Paul. Thanks for the laughs, man. It was a good one tonight.
All right. That's my pleasure. Susan K. Come to. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. Susan K. My latte lady. Thank you as always. Kenneth. Susanna W. There she is. Let's see. There she is. Nice to see you. We got David B. Hey, listen also, we're going to do 2 talks on Saturday. One 10 a.m. Pacific time and one at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. You can go. It's going to be it's on the website, the Zoom link. It's just the same Zoom, but we're going to be doing something with a retreat in Maryland or somewhere, or Delaware. So I don't know. Yeah, but I don't have much information. I just said yes, so that's it. So I'll 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock.